Well, guys, you've asked for this for over a year now. The man who took UFC 286 by storm with his surprise appearance, number 30 in the Royal Rumble, so to speak. The former interim UFC welterweight champion himself, fresh off his trip across the pond to London. The one, the only, at long last, Colby Chaos Covington. Been waiting to say this. Finally, welcome back to your home, dude. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. But I will tell you that this is my favorite interview, so it's good to talk to my boys from down under again. And let's be honest, guys, if I didn't ever go away, how would you miss me?
Dude, I love that. Because look, first off, let's get out of the way. We have missed you. We've missed seeing you, and it was so great to see you over there in London. What have you been up to all this time, though, man? What have you been doing to keep yourself busy?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of things. I've been just enjoying my life. Going traveling, seeing the country. I don't really want to leave the country because we're in the greatest country in the world. The United States, the freedom country. So a lot of great patriots here in America. So there's so many good sights to see here in America. And of course, I've been hanging out with my friend Donald Trump. Getting him geared up, getting him ready for the campaign trail before MAGA 2024 gets underway. So I'm super excited about the direction that's going with, the MAGA campaign and making this country great again because, inflation's higher than it's ever been. So we need to get a president that's going to put America first again.
There you go, man. All right. We're not here to focus on any kind of past stuff. We're here to focus on the future and what's next. So, man, you shocked everyone by weighing, a little bit past this past weekend. You shocked everyone by weighing in at UFC 286 as the backup fighter. What did you make? I'm curious, right? What did you make of the way everybody reacted to your surprise appearance? Before we talk about anything else, it was probably one of the craziest bombshell weigh-ins of all time. And I'm surprised that you managed to keep it a secret until literally the very last moment.
Yeah, just like my friend Lil Wayne said, real G's move in silence like lasagna. So, I was moving in silence, making my moves behind scenes. I don't have to, every time I go to eat a burger or go to a training session, I don't need to take a picture every time I'm doing something. Everybody knows how blue collar, hard working I am and the work I put in behind the scenes, and my success makes the noise. So, it was an amazing opportunity. I'm thankful to the UFC, Hunter Campbell, Dana White, Ari Emanuel for having me out there. It was amazing. Someone had to come out there and sell that pay-per-view. That no one knew about that fight in America. I mean, I probably asked 10 different people, like in law enforcement, just first responders, like firefighters here in America. No one knew who was fighting, and these guys are avid fight fans. So, someone had to come over there and make some noise. And as evident as being over there, I was the real main event. I'm the one that drew in all the ratings, and both those losers that were in the main event should be thanking me and putting some money in my bank account.
So, dude, what you did was incredibly impressive because obviously it was a surprise. It was awesome from the entertainment perspective. But here you are, you said you cut 18 pounds, but also you're stepping into a position where you're fighting two pretty different type of game plans, two different guys, and you never know what could happen. Like Usman might have not made weight, Leon, you never know what's going to happen, especially in London. So how do you prepare for something like that? Take us through that because it's a risky position.
Yeah, it's a very risky position, but everybody knows I put it all on the line every single time, and I'm not afraid to take the hard road and the road that no one else wants to do. I was willing to fight either one of those chumps on a moment's notice. If Dana White would have tapped me on the shoulder Saturday night when I was at the arena, I brought my mouthpiece, I brought my cup. I was ready to fight either one of them. It didn't matter if it was Leon Scott or Marty Fake Newsman. I was ready to go, and they both were scared of me. They were shook when they heard that I was in the building and I was there, so they didn't want me there. As evident, they're crying that, oh, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve that, and this and that. So it was pretty funny, Everybody knows I deserve it more than anybody. Look at the ultimate professional I am. I show up on 1 day's notice, legitimately 1 day. Of course, I talked to Hunter Dana a couple weeks out. They're like, hey, just stay ready in case anything happens. Leon Scott gets hurt, Marty Fake Newsman gets hurt or retires because he's already 1 foot out the door anyways. You can see Marty's a shell of his former self in the fight itself, but that's another story in itself. But, I was ready at a moment's notice, and they told me this a couple weeks before. But then, I got the call Tuesday late night, and Hunter's like, hey, we need you to come out to London. So I didn't know it was going to actually happen until Tuesday late night. But think about it. I got to get on a flight from America to London Wednesday morning. So that's a day trip in itself. So I get to London Thursday morning. I'm 188 pounds because I'm indulging. I'm eating good foods. I'm going on vacation, eating restaurant food, enjoying my life, still working hard, doing what I do best. Everybody knows I'm the hardest worker in this division. I'm the cardio king for a reason. But, I show up at 188 in 1 day's notice. I cut the weight to championship weight and make 170 pounds to show the UFC, to show the people, everybody that I'm ready to go on a moment's notice. And, if either guy would have got hurt, I would have been honored to step in because it just would have been such a greater storyline to come out of nowhere like that, weigh in and then a guy gets hurt and I come and get my title back. So, it was a beautiful week, and I'm just honored for the opportunity. It sucks I didn't get to fight, but now we know who's next because I'm the ultimate professional, and I show up and do my fucking job. I don't fucking miss weight. I don't make excuses. Oh, no, Hunter, no, I can't make the weight. It's too much, or cry about my situation. I go there, I work hard, I put it in, and, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, so just before we quickly move forward, so you're saying you had about 2 weeks of training for this, or what were we looking at realistically?
Boys, I do a lot of training, in the bedroom, on the streets, in the pool. I'm consistently working. Everybody knows, how talented I am and my work ethic, more importantly, more than anything. So, it's a lifetime culmination of hard work. This isn't just 2 weeks, man. This is when I was 6 years old in a wrestling room, sweating it out, bleeding it out, putting in the extra practice reps. Or, a decade ago, in a gym, putting in the extra 20 rounds on the bag, extra 10 rounds, pushing myself, doing extra work that I've always done my whole life to put myself ahead of everybody else and be at the top of the world. So, I've been ready my whole life, and the UFC knows how ready I am. Now they called me on Tuesday night. I got 1 day notice to prepare. I was ready to fight for the title and win that title. Now they know how serious I am. I'm about it. Anyone, anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter the stakes, the magnitude, the biggest and best fights, the bright lights. The UFC knows I shine brightest on that stage.
You were there, man. You were there under the bright lights watching cage side. What did you think of the main event?
Oh, what I thought about the main event is, damn, man. I thought Marty Fake Newsman was a cheater. Man, Leon Scott's the biggest cheater I've ever seen. The guy talks about headshot dead. Dude should be talking about cage grab, nut grab, nut kick, short grab, this grab. I mean, the guy did everything you could possibly do to cheat in the fight. I mean, he made Marty Fake Newsman look like choir boy out there. The guy's just a fucking cheater. He's a piece of shit. And I didn't make much of the fight. Honestly, Marty looked like a shell of his former self. I don't know if it was the 2 fights that he had with me and the brutal beatings he had to take at my hands or whatnot, but it just looks like he's cashed out. He's in movies. He's trying to get to Hollywood, and he's just not the same guy anymore. And that's the truth. Everybody saw that. There wasn't anything special from Leon Scott. And, I'm excited to get my hands on him. Now he's got nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. And the best part is, you can already see how afraid he is. He's afraid. You can see it in the way he's doing. Oh, Kobe's not. No, I'm next, bro. I'm number 2 in the world. I'm clearing the next contender. You're talking about, oh, he hasn't fought in this. Bro, you fought Nate Diaz, and before that, you took off 2 years. You're one of the most inactive fighters in the entire history of the company. So the guy's a fucking joke. He's going to get exposed, and he knows I'm coming to get that belt. He's not the champion right now. He's just a placeholder for me.
Just following up on that, like, what did you think of the fence grab situation that happened in the fight? And, also as a wrestler in a situation like that, would you rather have the point deducted, or would you rather have the referee start you sort of on top? Because DC and Bisping was sort of debating this. It's quite fascinating. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, man.
Yeah, my thoughts. I want the position. I don't need the point. If I'm in the position, I'm going to wear on you. I'm going to advance positions, look to submit you. I'm going to look to get some good little strikes off where you have to work extra hard to get out of that position, and then I'm right back in your face striking. So to take a point, stop the action, and then give him a breather so he can catch his breath, talk to his coaches. You see him looking directly at his corner, trying to get coaching advice and this and that. So, of course, I don't want the point. I want the position. So it's funny you guys say that, because I was talking to one of my coaches on the way home, Charlie Weiss, and we were just like, man, we didn't even know that was a rule. Like I guess that became a rule like recently or something. I don't know if that's been in the rule book for a long time, but me and my buddy were talking about on the way home, and we were definitely both agreeing. No, we want the position because we can finish the fight from that position.
Yeah. I thought it was fascinating. Not something that I really thought about prior to that, but when DC and Bisping were talking about it, it made me wonder what you would have preferred. I'm also curious just in general what you thought of like Leon's ability to like stuff a lot of Usman's takedowns, because I know that's something you're going to be studying, you know, heading into that fight.
You know, I didn't see anything special. Like I said, Marty, that's not the same Marty, you know, and he's never been a chain wrestler and cardio wrestler in himself. He's been a guy that likes to heavy box and get the takedowns when guys are afraid of him striking, and he's really making guys think strike. So, you know, he just, you know, he came out and he got his legs chopped out, you know, and he got chopped down like a tree. You know, he went body, he went legs. He didn't do anything special. I didn't see anything special that I'm going to be worried about. And obviously you can see the fear trembling through Leon already. He's already afraid, trying to find other contenders in the division to fight, because he knows I'm taking everything that he ever worked for, and everything he's got right now, it's all going to be on the line. It's all going to be snatched away from him. It's going to be just a repeat of the Revolutionary War in 1776 when the USA buried the British. He's going home in a pine coffin back to England.
Well, you know, yeah, after the fight, DC brought you up to Leon, and kind of Leon shut it down. And it's kind of one of those situations to your cage side. And I saw you try to kind of come out from your seat and move towards the octagon a little. Were you a little surprised how, I suppose, not more could have been capitalized from that moment? Like, you could have started selling pay-per-views right there if you were in that octagon face-to-face, or if somebody let you get a little bit closer. Like, are you a little bit disappointed you couldn't capitalize a bit more in that situation?
That's why he's an irrelevant fighter, and more people like me in England. When I walked out to that arena, the whole arena popped. You know, I was giving him a bow to them just for respect and appreciation. Like, I love the people over there, great people. You know, I hate the country. The food sucks. The women suck. Everything, you know, the weather sucks. Everything about that country sucks except for the people. The people were very embracing, good fight fans, very passionate fight fans. So it was amazing to be in that energy, in that environment. And, you know, they like me more than they like Leon Scott. So it shows. And Leon doesn't know how to, you know, that's why he doesn't do business, and he's not a big business fighter. He's literally irrelevant. He doesn't sell pay-per-views. He's not a draw. He's not a star like myself. So, you know, everybody knows who the real champion is. And the real champion, Colby Covington, is coming back to get his belt very soon. Hopefully July International Fight Week, if he doesn't delay this too long. And let's get it going, man. The biggest and best stage there is for the biggest and best belt. And you know, I know that they want to do some other title fights. Who doesn't want to see me on stage with Jon Jones? Man, could you know how electric that would be on the mic? Let's go.
You're, of course, referring to UFC 290. But just quickly, if you did get in that, let's just get it right here. If you did get in that octagon and you got into Leon's face after that fight, lay it out for us. What would you have said to him?
I just would have told him that get ready for your soul to be taken. Get ready for everything you ever worked for your whole entire life. Get ready to be crying to your mom about, oh, I achieved my dream. Yeah, you're going to be crying to her that all your dreams got smashed now. Just would have told him just the truth. You know, I'm an honest man. I'm a realistic man. I would have told him everything that's going to happen. And you could already see it. He doesn't believe in himself. He's already doubting himself. He knows he's going to get everything taken away that he worked for his whole entire life.
Dude, I'm still mesmerized by the whole potential of you and Jon Jones on the same stage at the same press conference. Because I know people were kind of like, oh, Colby's saying these things. What happens when you see Jon Jones in person? But you're like running towards it. You're steering straight into it. What does that situation even look like?
You know, that situation looks like a head-on collision, and it looks like some chaos mixed with some Coke Jones, and I think it goes for an entertaining press conference. You know, it's what the people want. The people want to see this. They want to be entertained. This is the entertainment business. This is not a sport. This is not a game. This is a business. We're here to make money. We're here to make money for the UFC and do good business. So this is entertainment business, and there's a reason I'm on the big docket, the main event pay-per-views every single time, because everybody knows what type of business I do.
When Leon Edwards was sort of talking about why he doesn't want to fight you, he brought up the fact that you were sort of inactive for a certain amount of time. But, you know, we don't want to talk about exactly what was going on through that time because I realize we can't really. But how hard was it for you? Because I know how much you love to be in that octagon. How hard was it for you to actually sit in your prime, away from the action for that long and not be able to get into that octagon and compete?
Yeah, you know, let's look at this like, you know, I'm very good friends with a lot of law enforcement officers. So let's look at this from a detective standpoint. Listen to what Dana White said in an interview just a few weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago after the press conference, after Jon Jones' fight at the pay-per-view press conference. He said, Colby's accepted every single fight. He's ready to fight everybody in the world. Everybody. Every single fight that's being offered to me, I've accepted. I've been ready to go. I'm excited. You think the UFC would put me in that position to be a backup fighter, to potentially fight for the world championship on their pay-per-view stage if I was turning down fights? Absolutely not. They would never do that. They don't run that type of business. They're not going to do favors for people that turn down fights. So this isn't my fault that people have been turning down my fights, or guys have been being unprofessional. That dog-faced motherfucker, Khamzat, he likes to talk all this shit. Dude, you're the most unprofessional piece of shit in the history of this company. You don't just belong in my fucking division anymore, you piece of shit. You had every opportunity to fight the easiest guy in the world, Nate Soy Boy Diaz. And you had all these professionals, all these doctors, the people at the PI, the UFC putting all this marketing money into you to make weight. All you had to do was make the weight against this easy fight, and you were gonna get the man. You were gonna get the man, Colby Chaos Covington, next. But you couldn't even do that. And then you laugh it off. You try and make a mockery of my division. You try and make a mockery of the UFC. The guy's a fucking joke. The guy's turned down every single fight. He's talking like he's ready to fight. No, you're in the doghouse. There's no reason. There's a reason you ain't fighting right now, because you're afraid to fight. And you're a little bitch and you're scared.
Yeah, he came out after your comments. He said he got asked to fight you 4 times, and apparently he said yes. What's your response to that?
I think someone was texting me that he was like promising on his Quran. Bro, that's so bad, dude. To go on your own religion, you're just lying on your religion, man. That's so fucked up, man. I can't believe you did that. You can go talk to Dana. You can go talk to Hunter. You know, I've been ready the whole entire time. I was excited to fight him, and that hype. He's got no gas. He's got no cardio. He couldn't keep up with me for 5 fucking rounds. Are you kidding me? You saw what Dilbert did to him for 3 rounds. Could you imagine with the Cardio King, the best welterweight in the entire planet, the best welterweight of all time, Colby's going to do to him? What it does to that fool. It's just, I can't believe he lied, man. I can't believe he's lying like that, saying he's ready, you know? If he was ready, why wasn't he the backup fighter for the world championship this weekend in London? No, it was Daddy. It was the man, Colby Chaos Covington. So that guy, he's irrelevant now. No, everybody knows he's a joke, and you can't take that guy serious anymore. He's not a professional like me. He's not an ultimate professional. He's nothing more than Khamzat, and he looks like a dog-faced motherfucker. It's disgusting. That rat lip.
Just last one on Khamzat. Like, do you think you guys will ever cross paths, like as an actual fight? Like, I wonder, let's say you win the belt, you're the champion, and the UFC's pushing him as like, hey man, he's a big fighter, he's a big contender. Do you think it ever happens before it's all said and done between you guys?
No, I don't think so. I think he'll lose his hype at 85. He's cutting all that weight because he wants that weight bully advantage. He wants to be, 40, 50 pounds bigger than everybody guys at welterweight. Shit, if I wanted to cut that weight, I'd be fighting Henry Cejudo. I don't want to go pick on a midget, a little guy like Henry, dude. Henry's cool. He's doing his thing at his weight, but I'm not going to go down his weight. I'm going to fight near my natural weight, what I weigh. The guy, it'll never happen. Look at how unprofessional he is. He showed up for the easiest fight in the company. A guy that's been washed up for years. A guy that just destroyed his body and everything. The guy's slurring his words. Nate Diaz, thank God the UFC released him. He shouldn't be under contract anymore. The guy, he can't even mumble sentences together anymore. So you had the easiest fight in the world. You didn't miss weight by 1 pound. You didn't miss weight by 2 pounds. You didn't miss weight by 5 pounds. He missed by 9 fucking pounds. And then he's laughing, joking on the stage like this isn't serious business. Like, dude, making a mockery of the company, the UFC, and there's a reason he's sitting on the sidelines now. He's the one that turned down fights, and he's the one that didn't act like a professional, and now he has to sit there like the little fucking B kid at the little kids table.
Don't want to take any sort of focus away from this Leon fight, because that's a real banger, but if things go to plan and you become champion, do you see this Colby Covington, Conor McGregor fight coming together? Because Conor's mentioned, in his interviews, he's looking at welterweight. If he gets past Michael Chandler, do you think you and Conor come together for this huge fight?
I think it's definitely a possibility. What the things that Conor's done, are unmatched in the sport. No doubt about it. He's done the most iconic things in the sport. And the beautiful thing about Conor is like all the things he's done, like no one thought he was going to do them. Like he's unpredictable. If you would have told me he was going to knock some guy out in 9 seconds or whatever he did against Jose, like no one could have predicted that. So he's unpredictable. He could do anything on a moment's notice. So that's not a guy you take lightly. He's a very dangerous and bad man. And it's a potential fight that could potentially happen down the road. Everybody knows I'm the biggest star right behind him in the company right now. So if we did want to do a pay-per-view, I mean, it would be such a blockbuster fight. I think it would be, honestly, the biggest pay-per-view seller in UFC history, probably around 2 million buys, to be honest. So if it happens, beautiful. If it doesn't, I'm not worried about that. I don't need to fight him for my legacy. I'm going to keep racking up wins. I'm going to keep winning world titles. I got so many titles right now. I got the UFC. I got the People's Championship. There's the People's Championship right there.
There it is. Nice.
There it is. I got the, America's Championship. I got Donald Trump's favorite fighter championship. That's my most important title back there. Donald Trump, man, signing that, bringing me the White House, making history like that. But I had I got the King of Miami belt. I have so many titles right now, and I'm just getting started. Guys, I'm just hitting my prime. Like, physically and mentally, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. Like, I'm training harder. I feel better than I've ever felt. I've diversified my attacks. No one's going to stop me. I'm the future of this company. I'm the future of this division. And I have a good 5 to 6 years left of just kicking ass and 2 to 3 fights a year and just fucking taking names and solidifying my legacy as the greatest welterweight of all time.
We'll let you go in a sec, Colby. Just going back to Leon, the focus, how would you feel if he ended up fighting Masvidal, purely because of the fact that you did beat Jorge already, last year?
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Just even Dana White was asked about that if in the press conference after the fight in London that I showed up for, and he said, a reporter asked him, he said, hey, what if George goes out there and sparks Gilbert? He said, doesn't matter, 100% Colby's next. So there's no avoiding this for Leon Scott anymore. The guy's got to come take this losing paycheck, this ass whooping. He's going to get his ass whooped. He's going to get sent back to England crying. He's going to go to his mom crying, but they're not going to be tears of joy this time. They're going to be tears of sadness, and he's got no choice. So he's got nowhere to go. We will fight. It's just a matter of it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So hopefully it'll end up being July, an International Fight Week, the biggest and best stage. Do it with Jon Jones on the card. I just think it would be an entertaining weekend and a weekend for America.
Did you speak to Dana after last night's fights, UFC 286?
Yeah, of course. He just pretty much told me you're next. So get ready. We're gonna try and book it as soon as possible. I'm sure we'll talk again, like in the coming weeks. I know they're coming to Miami soon, so we'll probably meet there. But what he said in the press conference, is assurance in itself. He's not gonna go back on his word. He gave me the promise, the guarantee, because I'm an ultimate professional. I showed up on a day's notice, cut 18 pounds, was ready to fight either one of those chumps on a moment's notice and get my belt back. So now they know how serious I am, how determined I am right now, and how focused I am on regaining my title and doing this for the troops and America and the first responders and law enforcement. God bless America. God bless the Trumps. God bless the troops.
Out of curiosity, obviously, aside from the fact that you came and you weighed in and you did that, why do you think the UFC is so they clearly are behind you? They seem to love you now. You guys have had ups and downs, but Dana is basically sitting there backing you up. And Dana's known for saying after the fights, hey, we don't make fights the night of. Oh, we'll go back to the office Tuesday, war room, da 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 da. But he's just shutting down any possibility of anything else. He's like, Colby's next. And I remember his words, no matter what. Where does that come from, man?
It comes from the numbers. Numbers don't lie. And everybody knows I draw the numbers. Whether you love me or whether you hate me, everybody wants to see me right now. And yeah, there's a lot of nerds out there crying. They're so sad. Oh, he doesn't deserve it. Oh, this and oh, that. It's because they know what's coming. They know I'm about to be the undisputed champion of the world. They can't stop it now. They can't stop the Colby train. It's unhingeable. It's unstoppable right now. And they know what's coming. So that's why they're crying. If they knew I was going to get sent in there to get slaughtered, then they'd be like, oh, yeah, Colby, go out there and get slaughtered. But they know what's coming. They know Leon's nothing special, and I'm a 10 times better fighter here. I'm the best welterweight in the world right now, and I'm going to go show it soon. So I can't wait, man. I'm so excited. I wish it was tomorrow. I'm ready today. I was ready yesterday. I was ready last week. I've been ready my whole life, and no one's going to stop me right now. It's my time to shine.
By the way, what did you think when you saw Islam Makhachev proposed a fight with Leon for October in Abu Dhabi? What was your reaction?
Man, I started laughing. That little mongoloid. Bro, you got beat by a little midget, Alexander Volkanovski, at 145. How are you going to come up to a real man's weight class, 170? So everybody knows what he was doing there. That's just his manager who manages, a couple different fighters in this division, trying to hopefully think that he's going to skip over me. It's not happening. You got to stay at 155. Make a title defense first. You haven't even defended your title. You fought a featherweight, a little midget who's like, what, 5'5", 5'6"? and you got beat by him. So, I don't make much of that. I think he's all talk. Those Russians have talked a lot that they're going to come to 170. No, they never came. You just talked hype in the media. You never did it because you don't want to come to a big boy's weight class. You're in a little kid's weight class. Stay in your little kid's weight class and do what you do best.
Just second last one before we let you go, Colby. As far as Kamaru Usman goes, do you think you guys ever, let's say you become champion, how important is that fight for you now? Just because obviously he doesn't have the belt anymore. I feel like you were chasing that belt for such a long time. He happened to hold it. Is it still an important fight for you to get back, or is it sort of you've moved past it now because he doesn't hold that belt?
I moved past it. I beat him in Madison Square Garden, guys. Everybody knows what happened last November, 2 Novembers ago in 2021. I beat his ass. I beat him 4 rounds to 1. It was clear as day. He beat me in the second round. That was it. I beat him in the 3, 4, 5 round. I beat him in the first round. Every fan in Madison Square Garden, Colby, they knew who won that fight. Every single fan didn't come up to me and say, Colby, you lost. Literally every single fan, thousands came up to me after the fight. They're like, man, I thought you won. I thought for sure at the minimum you won 3 rounds to 2. So everybody knows I got robbed on the judges' scorecard. So everybody knows you can't really trust the judges. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm the people's champ. I'm America's champ. I'm Donald Trump's favorite fighter. So I got bigger business to do. I got to defend this King of Miami belt now. So, I got to get on to my other business, and speaking of business, look at this immaculate smile. I got to give a big shout out to my boy, Chris Ramsey over at Ramsey and Ritter. If you guys are in South Florida, man, you got to hit up my guy, Chris. He does big things. And also look at my silk suit with all my mamacitas with some ladies on it. I'm looking fresh as fuck, boys. And I got to give a shout out to Sartorio Girardi, man. He's keeping me fresh. He's the one that does all my suits, has me suited and booted at all these events. So I can style and profile and take over these events like I do. You guys saw me out there, son. Every fucking girl in the crowd, Colby, can I get a picture, blah, blah. All the fans wanted to come up to me. So much love to all the people. I'm going to keep being the people's champ.
Are you gonna rock up to the Miami event? You're going to take over that one as well?
Boys, I'm unpredictable. You don't know where I'm going to be. I might be there. I might not. I make moves in silence, but everything I do is big, and that we got some things in store. We're definitely going to be taking a couple trips to some places soon. So keep an eye out. I might be on my Instagram, Colby Covington. I might be here. I might be there, but stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, all you nerds and virgins. Colby's back.
He's back in the house. Yeah, go Cass.
Yeah, I was going to say at Colby Cov MMA. For more chaos, follow the man to see what exactly is next. Hopefully, we see you fighting ASAP. Hopefully, at that July card, UFC 290. Yourself, Leon Edwards, Jon Jones on stage. All the fun stuff. Thanks again for popping on, and don't be a stranger, man. We'll chat soon.
I appreciate it. God bless, guys. It was great to talk to you again, and I'm sure we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care down under.